Welcome to Speedway Motors. Appreciate you stopping by. My name's Tim. I'm one of the techs here. If you've been following along, I've been working on a little 29 Model A Roadster that's kind of near and dear to my heart. I've been wanting to build this car for a long time. If you know anything about me, you know I'm on a budget. I don't have a lot of money to throw at this with a couple young kids at home. The other thing is I love old parts, so I'm always trying to find the parts that have the right message, that have some kind of meaning to me. I've been piling up parts for this car for a long time. I wanted to talk to you today a little bit about pedal assemblies. The pedal assembly is one area where I am going to deviate from using an old part. Somebody had a great quote on Facebook the other day. They said, "Old is gold," and I couldn't agree more. I've always thought that about old original parts. This is a pedal assembly that I pulled out of an old 38 Ford Humpback back in the day. Always thought I'd end up using this, and maybe someday I will. The problem with this thing is it's really kind of designed to work off an original Ford frame center X cross member. So I think on the next hot rod I build, I'll try to find an original, like a 40 Ford center cross member, so I can use this. This pedal assembly isn't quite as desirable as maybe a 40 Ford, which actually has the flange on it to bolt your master cylinder to, but it's still a neat piece. I'm going to put it on the shelf for another day. Deciding that, I started looking around for another pedal assembly that could fit the bill for my hot rod. That's when I came across this great piece from TCI. This pedal assembly is available here at Speedway Motors. It goes under your floor, comes all inclusive. You get all your bolts, you get your bracket, you get a Ford style master cylinder and a 1-inch bore, so that should work for discs or drums. In my case, I'm running drums all the way around the car. It also comes with the clutch master cylinder, which is pretty slick. It's a Willwood remote, so you can fill this thing from a remote location, which is pretty handy if you don't want to have to have a little hatch built on your floorboard. This is a 3/4 bore cylinder for that. What impressed me the most when I opened the box to this thing to try to decide if I wanted to use it is just how well it's made. It's very heavy duty. Everything comes pre-bent. It's all threaded for your pedal pads. All the geometry's figured out for you, which is wonderful. I can tell this thing's not going to go anywhere. Again, all the geometry's set up, so you don't have to think about that. It's got a 5:1 pedal ratio, which is perfect. When I was putting this in my little Model A, I realized it was going to fit pretty well. I kind of snugged it down right inside the frame rail there. Again, my frame is a pinched 32 Ford frame, and you run out of room really fast down there. These pedals are actually located pretty close together, and my F1 steering column actually fit in between here, which is unbelievable to me. I did end up heating and bending my pedals just a little bit, which is something that's pretty commonplace. We get a lot of guys that buy these nowadays to put them in, obviously they're kind of designed for early Ford and early Chevy hot rods, but you can use them in pickups, and if you've got a 50 style Chevy or Ford pickup, or even a 48 Ford pickup, it'd work great. I ended up using a little heat, like I say, to bend the arms out to make a little more room for my F1 steering box. The other thing I did is, on my F1 box, which is pretty commonplace, is I ended up cutting the flange off the original box. That thing, on a set of pinched rails, it actually sits inboard a little bit too far. So I cut that flange off. That pushes the box. I had a new flange made and welded on. It pushes the box closer to the frame rails, which worked out great. Once I did that, it was really easy. I didn't have to manipulate this setup very much to make it work, and it was very straightforward. Again, comes with all your bolts. It comes with this bracket too, which is pretty handy. I didn't end up using this on my Model A, but it works out pretty good if you have a set of unboxed frame rails. You can weld this in place, and it's all set to go. So I hope that helps you out. Just kind of explains, how I tackled a problem with the pedals in my hot rod. I'm actually going to smooth these out a little bit, cut, round the rough edges off, so it looks more like a stock style setup. But as stout as it's built, that shouldn't be any problem. I hope it helps you out again. Always appreciate you visiting us here at Speedway Motors. Hope you like listening to my talk about my project, and hopefully you've got a great project going on too. We've got a great group of tech guys here, wonderful assortment of parts. Please give us a call if you need any help. We're always happy to do whatever we can to make your dream happen too. So talk to you soon.